All right, well, that is the top of the hour, so we're going to get started. Just a quick reminder, I am recording this session. And just for a few of those that just sort of trickled in, housekeeping items, webinar format, so please make sure you're using Q&A if you have any questions as we go along, rather than the chat, so that I can just make sure I see them all and can get to them toward the end of the meeting. And with that, I welcome everybody to join. Thank you so much for all of you joining, especially at this last minute. I know we put out a little bit of a post there to help you register and get part of this event, but I wanted to make sure that we welcome everybody to the meeting. My name is Cameron Laird. I'm the product director here at Inside Real Estate for the PropertyBoost product. And the goal here today in this webinar is to help you really understand PropertyBoost, what it is, how it can impact your business, how it works, and how to get started using it. If you haven't heard of it or seen it or don't really know what it is, this is a great opportunity to kind of get familiar with it. At its basic core, PropertyBoost is an advertising product that helps you get your listings out there on Facebook and get more exposure to them and generate some leads. So we'll move right along. And the way that we do this with PropertyBoost is we use what's called a Facebook lead form ad. And this is an example of what a lead form ad looks like on Facebook. You can see the PropertyBoost ad on the left-hand side of the screen. In the middle is a form that is attached to that ad, and then you've got your privacy policy associated with that as well. So the great thing about a lead form ad is that this property form interest form that gets attached to this thing is automatically populated with contact information coming from the person's Facebook profile. So this really increases our chances of getting really high quality leads that come complete with contact information, because you don't really have to think about entering it as you click on it. So you can imagine I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, watching TV. I see this ad for this lovely property, and I click on learn more. And the very next thing that happens is you see this lead form ad pop up. It's pre-populated with my name, my email address, my phone number. Most times that phone number is going to be a cell phone number. So you've got this great resource to help get you texting to that person and get communicating. And it's all populated for me. So you're really reducing the risk of getting those leads that come with incorrect information or bad information. And so it's a really fantastic way to get that information in, because this is connected in with KV Core automatically. Those leads will come in, they'll be tagged with a hashtag that represents that property, so you can easily identify them, and all of that wonderful lead information is coming along with the form right into KV Core. So you might be sitting looking at this and thinking, that looks just like a Facebook post. Why can't I just do this on my own? Well, of course, you can just create a post to promote your properties on Facebook. You can write your own ad or your own post and get it out there, define that audience, build that lead form, but can be really tricky at times and can be a bit time consuming. So this is a really sort of one-stop shop, makes it really easy for you to connect with your audience, getting those out there. With a Facebook post, you're really casting a pretty wide net, because you're just sort of saying, show this to everybody within a radius or within a certain area or demographic. PropertyBoost is leveraging Facebook's their intelligence to be able to really refine the audience of who sees this ad, to make sure it's getting in front of the people that are likely to purchase or sell a home in the near future. And you're using that complex AI to make sure that it's being seen by the right people. The ads created by PropertyBoost, they're highly optimized for engagement. And they are, optimized to make sure that people are seeing them. We're constantly changing them up and making sure that they're working really well. And a standard Facebook post, with no boosting, is really only going to be visible inside of your sphere on Facebook. But these ads have a much greater audience. So the question coming in here, so is this initiated within KV Core and not Facebook? Absolutely, and that is a wonderful segue. So I'm thank you so much for asking that question. So as we move along here, unlike creating this ad for yourself from scratch on Facebook, PropertyBoost is fully automated and embedded right inside of KV Core. So we take care of all the complex stuff. We make it really easy to get your advertisements out there. It takes no more than a couple of minutes to get set up and ready to go. And we are even sending you emails when you get new listings, and we have some new things come up. And I'll show you examples of what this looks like to help you creating these ads and getting them going pretty quickly. So from KV Core, don't worry about taking too much on these screenshots. I'm going to do a live demo, so I'll show you exactly what this looks like in a few minutes. But basically from KV Core on your dashboard, what you're going to do is you're going to click first. In the left-hand menu, you're going to see where it says Marketplace. And if you haven't been to the Marketplace before, it's a really fantastic resource. There's tons of great tools in there for your business that you can add on to KV Core, whether it's advertising products, other partnerships that we have with different systems that you can add in there. Inside of the marketplace, we're going to click on this leads filter at the top, and then you're going to see Property Boost right there. So that's one way to get there, is to go through the marketplace. And for your first time, this is a really great way to go. The other way that you can get there is you can actually use the listings panel right within KV Core. So you click on the listings on the left-hand side, you'll see a list of all the listings that are available to you in your brokerage. And then you can click on this Boost property. So essentially I just click on one of these buttons, select the listing I'm interested in, and then I'm going to click on Boost property. And last but not least, one more way, if I go into the listing detail page, right in this menu, you can see that there's a Boost property. So there are lots of ways to get there, making it really, really easy for you to get in there and actually boost a property. I did mention before that we are also sending out emails that you'll see in your inbox. And if you've seen one of these, maybe you didn't know what it looks like. This is what those emails look like. It's an email that will let you know that, hey, with your new listing that you just got, for example, we've got this set up ready for you to go. You click on this button in the middle here to finish off your ad and get that Property Boost going right from your email inbox, which is a really great way to build these ads on the go. So just as sort of another way for you to get in there and leverage that Property Boost right from those communications. So as promised, I'm going to jump right into Property Boost, and I'll take you through a walkthrough of how it goes and show you exactly how to use it and how to get in there. And then we'll come back again and wrap it up in a second. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to pull up a different browser window, make sure I pull up the right one. And I'm going to reshare. Which one? This one. So as promised, here is our KV Core platform. So I'm on my dashboard, and you can see I can click here into my listings. Hopefully it lets me through here. Hold on, it's loading. There we go. Pulls up the listings in a second. I'm going to turn off my video because I think I'm using up a little bit of bandwidth. Here we go. So we've got all of our listings here. I can just select one of these, click on Boost Property. Or again, what I can do is dive right into this listing by clicking on it to pull up the listing detail page. And then right underneath this menu over here, I'm just going to see it come up in a second. What the heck is it? There we go. Right under here, we've got this Boost property link here as well. So a couple of different avenues that we can get there. So once we've got to the Property Boost itself, I'm going to walk you through what it actually looks like to use Property Boost. So this is an example. You've got your Property Boost page. So once you've actually selected the listing that you're going to, you've got this Property Boost that you come to, and I'll walk you through this because it can be a little daunting for people when they first come in here. So all the steps are numbered for you, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get you through this, but I'll walk you through step by step. So the very first thing you do is select what type of boost you want to do. A listing boost is essentially when you've got a new listing. Maybe you have a listing that's been sitting around for a while. You want to give it a little bit of a push in the market. You can build this. It's very focused on that listing. An open house is where you've got an open house coming up. You can promote that open house. And then finally, you've got a price reduction. So the nice thing about this is that through KV Core, we have all the listings. We get all of the changes in those listings as things go through the different life cycles from creating a new listing to an open house to a price reduction. Those notifications will come right into your inbox as well, so you can take advantage of that right from there. But basically, we'll start off here. We pick our listing. We're going to start with a listing type, and the very first thing we can do is we can notice on this particular boost that I've got here, I don't really like this photo because it's just a photo of the living room. So what I can do is I can click here and I can select a picture of the outside of the building as an example. So I'm going to use this one instead. And then what I can do is go through the next steps. So the rest of the steps here, from the website is the next thing you want to take a look at. This website is, you don't really need to do anything with this, but I would like to explain it here, is that by default, anybody who clicks on one of these ads, they're going to be directed to your default primary website. So if you do have more than one website, you can click on this destination website, and then you can choose from a list which website you'd like to select. I've only got one, so it's by default, it's going to go to my default website. The next one here is the targeting. So what we do when we define the targeting is we say, we're going to define a radius of about 15 miles around this address, and that's who we're targeting. And what we do is that will be defined by default for you. But if you have a property that maybe is prime for a recreational property or a second home, lakefront, beach house, that kind of thing, you can actually change the targeting to target this listing in another city. So maybe that this one here is in Miami Beach. Maybe I want to promote this to people in the Northeast. I can choose a city somewhere else, and maybe this is an ideal for somebody to buy a property for recreational purposes. Last but not least here, we have this compliance text, and this is optional because it doesn't sort of apply to everybody. But if your MLS board has guidelines of information that needs to appear on an online ad, you're going to want to use this compliance text field to add that in there. So that could be your brokerage name, it could be the phone number, could be a license number or an MLS number, something like that. You can add that in here, and that'll also appear on the ad. So over on the right-hand side here, we have the preview of that ad. So this is showing you what the ad is going to look like when it's on Facebook. And then you can toggle between the two different views. This is what it looks like on a desktop computer from a browser. This is what it looks like on mobile. So you get to see that sort of back and forth. The other thing I'm just going to draw your attention to is that when we do an open house ad, you're going to use this second field here to pop out a date and time picker. So if the open house hasn't come across from the MLS, you're going to want to add those dates and times because it's actually going to show up in the ad. So you pick a date that's at least 3 days, and you're 3 days before that date. So I could say for the weekend, for example, I could go ahead and create that ad for, say, the 25th of January, set my times, add in a second date, so you can have sort of both days on the weekend, and set that up as well, and that'll appear right in the ad. So once we've done that, we've set up our ad, we've done any modifications we need to do, we scroll down here, and then we get to choose the pricing plan. So obviously with these are ads. You're paying for these ads to go on Facebook and generate leads for you. You can pick and choose how much you want to spend on the ad. Now, this is a relatively inexpensive way to boost a property. You can see here it's starting at about $45 for 3 days, $60 for a week, which is actually a pretty good price to get an ad out there. So you can come in and pick and choose. If you do choose something like 3 weeks, you do save a little money on the per week price. But most people will go for the $60 for 1 week price. Now, the great thing about this product is that not only are you getting exposure for a listing that you're selling already or generating leads for your own business, but this looks really, really good in your listing presentation. So if you're going in to try and get a listing from somebody, you can put this as part of your marketing solution, have it as part of the plan, and say, I'm going to boost your property on Facebook. And we're going to get great exposure for your properties. We're going to get lots of people looking at it. It's a really inexpensive way to kind of make that investment into marketing the property on Facebook. So we're going to select our plan. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and enter in our billing information. I'm going to do this live. I'm obviously not going to purchase this, but I'm just going to sort of walk through this to give you an idea of what this looks like. You put in your address. I had this all set up before. I'm in Canada. Oops. My funny postal code. Finish it off. When you do this, actually what's really great about this too is that by doing this, it'll save your credit card. So when you come back the next time, your credit card will already be saved, and makes it really easy for you to make that purchase the second time around. I'm going to complete this checkout. Of course, I've selected an open house. I'm going to go back to the listing type. I'm going to hit complete checkout, and it's going to go ahead, and if the gods are smiling upon me today, here we go. We get our confirmation page saying thanks, your order has been confirmed. And this is a really great screen to stop on for a second, because not only have I just created the ad for myself, but now I'm prompted here to add in my seller's email address and phone number, which means that because PropertyBoost is going to send you a daily performance report, it's going to tell you how your ad is doing. How many clicks, how many leads, how many shares have you got? But it's also going to send that same information to your seller if you want to. So I can add in a seller's email address and phone number right on this screen, and they will get the same performance reports as we go along, as you go. So if you get stuck at any point as well, if you run into any issues or you don't know what to do, just like with anything else in KV Core, you've got the support button down here. I can click on that. It'll bring up my support channel, and I can actually work with support directly right on PropertyBoost. For now, I'm going to skip this. And I'm going to move on to the final screen here, which is your dashboard. So now that you've got an ad live, it's going to come and bring you into this dashboard. So the dashboard's a really great resource because it shows you all of your active ads. Here's the one that we just created. Here's another one I created earlier today, one I created last week. So you've got all these different ads that are running. You get to see how many impressions, which is the reach, how many people have actually seen it. You've got your clicks and shares and leads that are all coming in. I can also add in the seller information. So if I didn't do it in the initial time and they've asked me to see some results, I can click on seller info here and add it. The other thing you'll see here is with your ads that have expired, or have finished, I can actually reboost them. And this will come into play in a second when we go back to our wrap up. So I'm just going to go back to some of our questions here. There's a question here about if I'm boosting a property for my office, how are the leads given out? We have round robin routing to my agents. Want to select a certain few to send leads to the broker owner of the office. So you can do that based on the information that's coming in on the lead into KV Core from PropertyBoost. So every single lead that comes in from PropertyBoost will be hashtagged. So it'll be hashtagged with hashtag PB and then the first 15 characters of the address. So you'll see that right in there. So you could actually sort of key off of that hashtag, or you can also key off of the lead source. So all of the leads that are coming in, they'll have a lead source in KV Core that says PropertyBoost. You could use that to kind of divvy those leads out to the people in your office and build some lead routing rules around that. There's another question here about going to the website. Does that mean it takes the listing on our website to view more information? Yes, Sandra, absolutely. So you're going to see that that when somebody clicks on learn more, you're getting that lead form filled out. That's registering them for you on your website. And then also it'll take them to the website to show them more information about that property. Another question here about the targeting. If you don't choose the targeting, what's the default region? The default region for targeting is a 15-mile radius around the address that you're on your boost. Can you use compliance text field to add more information on the ad? The answer on that one is yes, you can, but you're limited. It's only about 100 characters that we're giving you there. So we do have some exciting changes coming in the near future where we're actually going to have pull in the description field from your listing, and you'll be able to edit that as well. So, so that's it on the demonstration part. Again, like you've got all this great information on the dashboard. I can filter this down to just my active, my completed, my upcoming. I can see everything. I've got a nice boost property button here too that I can click on to boost another property and take me back into the workflow of building those boosts out. So to come back to our presentation. Oops, where is that? Here we go. So back to the presentation, we just did our live demo. Where's my other thing? Here we go. I'm going to wrap things up for you here and kind of give you a bit of a summary. So the goal here is that, why should I use PropertyBoost? Well, the nice thing about PropertyBoost is that it's really fantastic exposure for your listing on social media. These ads appear right in the feed of prospective home buyers. There's no interruptions. they're scrolling through as they're watching TV, they see the ad come up in their feed, they can click on it, and then you're getting that great click through. You're going to get generate leads as well. The primary goal here is to promote a listing for a seller, but it's always nice to grow your business with leads. They're high quality leads, so you get a lot of really great information on these people that are coming through because of that automation with the lead form. These look really great to your prospective seller. I would say if you're going to start using PropertyBoost, start off by putting this into your marketing package on your listing presentation, because it's going to help you to try and differentiate yourself against others, your competition. Not every agent is going to be willing to stand up there and go and spend their own money to promote a listing. This is a great way to show that. And it's an inexpensive way to show that in a way that's giving feedback back to the seller as well. You'll dazzle those same sellers because you're going to put their email address and their phone number. They're going to get all that contact information of how the ad is doing, reinforcing your value as the agent that they've chosen. And then last but not least, you can use your PropertyBoost ads over and over again, or again and again. You can reboost listings that perform really well to continue driving traffic to your website and generating new leads from your website. So I'll show you a tip on that in a second as we go through. Just to recap, your pricing plans, 1 week starts at $60, which is a pretty small investment to get a boost out there. You've got, some savings coming when you do a longer boost. So the longer boosts come in really handy when you've got something a little more niche. If you're a luxury property, a farm or something like that, that's a little more out there that doesn't get the traffic and you want to promote it, you can boost it for a little longer. But there's some great value to be had in the extended pricing plans as well. I talked about a little tip and reboosting. So I wanted to show you a little bit of performance here, just to kind of reinforce how this works. And what you can see here is a sample of a number of different PropertyBoost ads from 2020 that were getting really fantastic impressions. So this first one here, it's getting 18,501 impressions. Those are views of that ad, 256 leads. The cost per lead was coming down to 47 cents per lead. Now, obviously, this isn't indicative of performance for every single property. There's going to be a lot of things that do sort of factor into how well your ad performs, the market, the audience that's available to it. But it sort of gives you an idea that when you're getting these ads that are performing really, really well, and your dashboard will tell you all this stuff, this is a great opportunity to take these ads, reboost them again, and drive traffic to your website with these really well-performing ads. So just a little bit of a tip there to sort of look for that low cost per lead and reboost those ads again and again to give you that opportunity. So with that, I'm going to go through some more questions here. So a couple questions. I think this one here, by going to the website, does that mean it takes the listing on? Yes, I think I answered that one. So yeah, any traffic that's coming through the ad is going to go to your website to see more information about the property. They will be automatically registered for your website as well by filling out that lead form. So it's they're already captured in the system. You've got consent to now market to them right from KV Core. So another question here, if you don't choose targeting, what's the default? I did mention this a couple of times, but I'll go through it again. That default targeting region is going to be a 15-mile radius around that property. So imagine the property in the middle of the circle, 15 miles on all sides is what's going to define the targeting audience. And then what Facebook does further to that is they actually try to zero that in to people that are likely to be buying a home. So they use their analytics in the background and their AI to be able to sort of carve out an audience within that 15-mile radius that are most likely to be in the market for real estate. I answered this one about the compliance text field. So does the listing have to be yours? No, it doesn't have to be yours. You can borrow a listing from somebody else. So if you're a new agent or you don't have a lot of listings, you want to try to get some traffic, absolutely, work with the people in your office, understand who you can work with and get their permission to actually run the ad. We suggest obviously talking to them first before you go out and build an ad for their listing. But just like with any other marketing effort, you absolutely can boost any listing in your office. I just would always get that permission from the listing agent to do so. So what happens if I pick a property for 3 weeks and the home gets taken off the market after 1 week? Do I get reimbursement? No, we sort of run the ad is, we don't know how long it's going to run for. So if it does sell within that first week, you're going to run it for you're still going to pay for the full 3 weeks, unfortunately. But that's the way the program works. I would suggest that if you're concerned about that, run 1 week at a time. It's really easy if you're seeing the performance is really good to go back in and reboost just by clicking this one button that you see on the dashboard. So if you're concerned about the property selling while you're running a longer ad, just run 1 week at a time, which is what most people actually do. So the question about the radius again, is it from the address of the property or is it from your Facebook address? It is from the address of the property, not your own Facebook address. Is this the same as boosting it directly through Facebook? It's similar to boosting through Facebook. So if you create a post in Facebook where you write that post, and then you create like an audience and you buy an ad and you boost it. Yes, you can do it through Facebook if you know how to do that. This is sort of makes it a lot more automated and single click. So it makes it a lot easier for you to do. We take care of all the automation. You also have the advantage of our optimization that goes into that as well and making sure your ad's performing. So it is similar to boosting through Facebook, but we do have some additional intelligence in our system that makes it perform a bit better. It's also, the integration between Facebook and KV Core can be a little daunting for some people. So we've taken care of all of that piece as well. So you have to go through some setting up of Zapiers and getting things connected between Facebook and KV Core. That's all taken care of for you automatically here. So this is a really, really easy way to do something that takes multiple steps to manage in Facebook on its own. So can you boot? Yeah, we answered that already. Unfortunately, you can't put in parameters for what population you want to target. Facebook has largely crippled what we can do for targeting real estate audiences specifically. So we can kind of give them lat and long coordinates of the center of a radius, and then by identifying this as a property ad, they do some stuff in the background, but we don't have any control over the population that we want to target. It's a 15-mile radius, by the way, too, if I wasn't clear on that. Sorry about that. So the question, what does 1 week mean? Does the property show up multiple times in people's Facebook? So that just means how long the ad is going to run for. So somebody may see the ad more than once. Every time they refresh their feed, it could still be there in the timeline, especially if they are more like identified by Facebook to be more in the market and identified as somebody who's in the market. They may actually see the ad more times. It's using Facebook's algorithm to get it into the in people's Facebook feed. So a question here, is your dashboard capturing those leads? Absolutely. So the dashboard in KV Core will see all these leads. Again, they'll be hashtagged and they'll have a lead source of PropertyBoost. Once the ad is running, you can't change the targeting. It's always sort of set in stone from the beginning. You can add a different area, so you can run the ad, in a different area if you choose to, but it's all sort of like up to the top. There's a question here about, does this meet advertising laws, showing the brokerage provided by somewhere on the ad? So that's where that compliance field comes into play. So if your local MLS requires you, which doesn't happen everywhere, requires you to put that information in the ad, you can put that in the compliance field. There are no edits to the boost actually after it's been submitted. It's always just sort of out there once it's done. Reboosting properties does cost the same. So basically what you're doing is creating another, just another run of the same ad. So yeah, it would be the same price. And then finally, there's a question here: do the leads go into a lead nurturing campaign? So yeah, you can key off of the hashtag, or you can key off of the off of the source if you want to do something special for Property Boost. But if you've got a new lead nurturing campaign, for example, that's setting up automatic property alerts and that kind of stuff, you can do that right off of them, just like with any other ad. Question here, great question here. Actually, do I have to set up a landing page? You do not have to set up a landing page. It's going to land right on the listing detail page on your website. Most popular boost, we get mostly it's the listing boost. So it's always the listing boost that's the most popular. Obviously there's more listings than there are price changes and open houses. So I think that's primarily the where most people go with that. But yeah, primarily it's the new listing boost. Any stats on using exterior images versus interior images? So we don't have any statistics on that, but we do have stats, sort of like best practices from an advertising perspective. Most people do want to see, most ads will perform better showing the outside of the property. Because it does give you a little more context. You'll see sort of like the style of the home. It feels local. It feels like it's regional. So yes, it's better to use an exterior shot of the property versus interior. The only flip side of that would be if you've got less than stellar outside and you've got a really fantastic feature like a beautiful kitchen or something inside that you want to showcase, you can pick and choose that. But yeah, it's kind of goes back and forth. Most people will say that you're going to get a better performing ad showing the exterior of the property, unless there's something that's really eye-catching in there. Does the property information come from the MLS? Yes, it does. So it comes along in your IDX feed. So we're pulling that in right off of your website configuration and getting that out there. Most popular time frame is for Property Boost is a week. The one week is the most popular purchase. You get a little bit of savings at 3 weeks, but 1 week is the most popular. Any more questions? Most popular day that we see, what I can say in terms of purchases is that Thursdays are the biggest day for purchases. I don't know why that is, but Thursdays are always our biggest days for Property Boost sales. So we see the most boosts go out on Thursday. It's typically, it does take 24 to 48 hours for that to really ramp up. So, if you want to get a listing out there and have it, performing by the weekend, for example, Thursday is a good day to post. There's a question here, do these ads run on Latlong as well? Oh, sorry, on IG, Instagram. These ones do not run on Instagram as well. Our Facebook AI, the generic ads that we have, a small portion of the ad budget will go to Instagram, but these types of ads tend to perform better on Facebook proper. So we don't really split the spend between Facebook and Instagram. It all goes into Facebook. Oh, more questions. You can't select multiple cities yet. That's something we have in the works. Right now, it's only a single city, but we will be able to add additional in the near future. Oh, and then the question here from answer here, some help on the best day to post. Thursdays are the best day to put up a new house in the market. So that sort of reinforces what what we're saying. So if the house is coming on the market on a Thursday, providing it's available to us on the same day as you put it live, Thursday is a good day to post it. But you want to give a little bit of runway before the weekend. I think would be a good choice. Is the website or Property Boost more popular, generate more traffic, or should I do both? Just trying to decide which one to do first. So I would say get your website set up and running, and get your website, you know, working and looking good and the way that you want it, because your property boost is going to drive traffic to your website. So I would say if you're in terms of an order, if you're new to KV Core, set up your website, get it all spit shined and looking good with your headshots and all that kind of stuff. And then with make sure your IDX feed is all set up and running, and then set up your property boost to direct traffic to the website, because the website on its own won't generate traffic, you know, without a little bit of help in the background. Property Boost is a great way to do that, to generate traffic and push it through there, get people registering on your website. Now you can get them onto a drip campaign with your property alerts and that kind of stuff. So that would be my recommendation. Get your website up and running and then add the Property Boost afterwards. Awesome. Well, Carolyn, thank you so much for that. You know, just some feedback. We've had, you know, great success in the brokerage using Property Boost. Excellent product. I agree. I'm a biased audience. Absolutely. Yes, it's good feedback to hear. It's a really popular product. It's very easy to use. The question here about my Facebook page was hacked and I'm restricted from ads on Facebook and Instagram. Is there any help that provide a workaround? Well, the nice thing about that was that the products that we have here that have Facebook advertising don't require your Facebook page. We actually will use sort of a generic Facebook page to post. So your Facebook ads, you can run Facebook ads and Property Boost through the system, and it's not reliant on your own Facebook page. That's a nice thing if you're a little stuck and you don't have the ability to post ads. It's absolutely a good option for you. Is there a deadline when you purchase a listing Property Boost? For example, you only purchase them the first week. No, there's no deadline. You can purchase them anytime. So if you've got, you know, if you've got if you've got a listing that's been sitting around for a while, an old listing, can't get it to move, great opportunity to post it. You can post a Property Boost anytime the listing is available on the MLS. You can create that. And then once the listing, once you actually already have boosted a listing, you can use it to boost again. So if you've got a really great performing one, you can boost them again, like I suggested before. So yeah, so that takes us to 2:35 my time. We'll take another couple of questions and then we'll sort of wrap things up for the day. How soon does the ad run after paying? Within 24 hours, typically, the ad is posted and you'll see it show up in your dashboard. Any more questions from anybody? Yeah, so great question, Chris. Yes, if you buy a 3-week ad and it sells in the first week, the ad will continue to run. The ad will not continue to run. It'll actually come down as soon as the listing sells. So that's why we kind of recommend, if you're going to use, if you want to do sort of like experiment with some longer durations, do 1 week at a time, because if you do a week, you can then reboost it again, as opposed to running a 3-week ad. But yeah, if you, if it sells, we will take it down. That's one of the advantages of Property Boost, is that we manage the ad for you. So it will be taken off of Facebook if you sell the property. So question here about how do you watch the recording? You missed it. I'll send it out afterwards to all of the attendees. You'll get a sort of a follow-up with the recording attached. So if you want to watch it again, we also run this session weekly. So if you liked it and you want to share it with your friends, you can see in the training calendar in the top right-hand corner of the KV Core dashboard, there's a training calendar you can click on. You can register for this session again for next week. Share with your colleagues. If you like what you saw, they can join it. We're going to start having a series of these on all the marketplace products, so you can sort of join in and see what we've got coming. The time starts running for the boost as soon as you purchase it. So, it's within 24 hours, it'll be live, and then it'll start running. But the clock sort of starts as soon as that purchase goes down. So there was So the best way to follow up, I would recommend, getting a drip campaign set up inside of KV Core with your new lead, smart campaigns to get those touching people with whatever information you have. So you've got a phone number, an email address, text message follow up have really, really good follow through and really good response rate. So I would recommend using some of the campaigns that are in KV Core to get you, following up with people right away and nurturing them to purchases for sure. All right, well, that is all the time we have for today. So thank you so much for your attention and all the really great questions. Really enjoyed talking to you and sharing this product with you again. Check out that training calendar up in the top right-hand side of the dashboard. Lots of great information in there for you and getting up and running and using KV Core and all of the products that are included within there, as well as the add-ons that you can add. Thanks again for your attention, and I hope this was useful. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Thanks very much, everybody.